Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss a chapter from The Flamingo, the Rattrap Seller, and the name of the writer here is Selma Lagerlof. Before we go to the main story, let us briefly talk about the writer Selma Lagerlof. Selma Lagerlof was a Swedish writer, and most of the stories has been written in so many other languages also. It means she was a very popular writer. And the universal theme that you can find in most of her writing is that human beings are capable of exhibiting goodness. It means it is inherent in them. But you can see in the world that all the human beings are not good. But she says that those people who are not good, there is goodness in them also. And that goodness can be awakened through understanding, love, and affection. And this particular theme is also exhibited or projected in the story of the Rattrap Seller through the character of the Rattrap Seller, the peddler. We will see that. Now, one of the very catching line that you can see in this chapter is that the Rattrap Seller meditates the entire world to be a rat trap. You know, if you see the title, the rat trap means it is a trap for the rat. He tells that the entire world is a rat trap and all the human beings are like rats, and money, possessions, or having things like car, making a building, or having bank balance, all these are materialistic things. All these are baits for human being. For rats, what are the baits? The baits are food, like a piece of cheese, or a pork, or for that matter, a tomato, or anything. A piece of bread also. The rat, when he sees those particular things, it is attracted, comes near the rat trap, and is trapped, and loses its life. Human being also, in the similar manner, they are attracted to material things, and they become materialistic. And to achieve material thing, what they do? They are attracted. They go near doom. Doom means destruction. They lose their life also, and they get dejected. They get unhappiness. For that matter, you can very well make an analysis of the Indian tradition. In Indian tradition, we see that, if you read the mythological books like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, and other mythological books, they give much more importance than achieving spiritual things or developing spiritual life rather than achieving materialistic things, because materialistic things or material benefits are temporary, they are transitory, they will not live for a longer period of time. But spiritual growth is forever. You are growing yourself, and that's the matter. In Indian tradition, we are people, those who are spiritual, they are discouraged to gain material things. That is another matter. In this chapter also, as I told you, the Rattrap Seller, because he was not at all treated well by human beings, he thinks they are rats and the world is a rat trap, and and they are trapped. And hence the whole world is called a big rat trap, which tempts the people towards his materialistic benefit and brings about their destruction. The story revolves around the incident of a man. Who is this man? The peddler or the Rattrap Seller, who is getting trapped due to his greed. And what is that greed? Greed of stealing, greed of money, materialistic thing mostly, as I told you. Okay? Now, who are the characters in the story? There are nearly 5 or 6 characters that you can see. The major character in the story are the Rattrap Seller or the peddler, then the iron master, and his daughter Adla will mention. Let us make an analysis of the character of the Rattrap Seller. Rattrap Seller was living a poverty-stricken life. His circumstances of his life were very difficult. He was a poor person. He didn't have food to eat. He was eating whatever he was getting from here and there. And he, as I told you, he was also begging, and sometimes also he engages himself in stealing things. So he was not only a rat trap seller, or not only he was selling rat traps, he was also engaging in stealing. So he was a thief and begging. Alright, and morally, if you see his character, he was not upright. Alright, so he was a cheater. You will see in his character that when he was given kindness or love and affection in the house of the crofter, he cheats. Okay, there is an incident in the story where the Rattrap seller was going through the jungle and he couldn't find a way out, and he took shelter in the house of the crofter. The crofter gave him food to eat, gave him milk to drink, gave him also a piece of tobacco, and he entertained him by playing modules. Then he gave him shelter to pass his night. The next morning, when both of them went out, the crofter, for that matter, he was a farmer, he went to his farm, and the Rattrap seller started his journey. After going for a particular, after passing a particular way, he came back. In the previous night, the crofter had also shown him the possession, the material possession that he had, the 30 kroner notes, the entire earning that he had by selling milks. Alright, so the Rattrap seller had seen that money, and now he is being attracted to achieve or to get that money. He comes back to get that money. Okay, and he breaks the window pane and takes the money. So it was an act of stealing. So he didn't appreciate the love and kindness which was shown to them by crofter. He rather takes an advantage and stole the money. So not a good character actually in the initial part of the story, if you see. Then, but he also makes philosophical thought. The next thing, at the end of the story, you will find that he undergoes a kind of inherent change, and the goodness in him is brought out. Okay, through the kindness and love which was shown to him by Edla, we mentioned. You will see if you read the story, it was Edla who, in the later part of the story, when her father told the Rattrap seller to leave the house because he came to know that he was not an old regimental army officer, rather he was an impostor who came to his house in a very strange manner. But Edla interceded, and she said on behalf of the Rattrap seller and told to her father that it was Christmas and maybe that person was celebrating his real Christmas for the first time, and he should be shown some kind of kindness and love, and he should be allowed to live in the house. And the Rattrap seller stays in the house of the Iron Master. Okay, and when the Rattrap seller sees all this kind of love and affection which was shown to him, he undergoes a kind of change in his heart. And what happens? He changes himself. In the initial part of the story, you see, he was not even given a name. Okay, he was a Rattrap seller, a peddler, a thief. But now at the end, he has given the signature Captain Ronstadt. Means he has got an identity. And who gave this identity? It was Edla. So he has undergone a change. The money that he had stolen, now he is ready to give it back. He had written a letter, and the money he had kept in a small rat trap, and he had written in the letter to Edla that Edla should give back the money to the old crofter from whom he had stolen it. Now, that is the kind of change which is seen. Now, this is the main theme, real theme of the chapter. The writer has been very well projected this theme of love and affection, how it affects a criminal, or how it brings out the inherent goodness in him. We see that in the character of the Rattrap seller. Now come to the Iron Master. He was a very successful businessman, very famous for supplying good quality iron products to his consumer, and he was also an army officer earlier, because when he comes to the his iron factory and he saw the tramp, the Rattrap seller, he was mistaken. He thought that he was an old army officer, a friend, Captain Niels Olaf, and invited him to come to his house. So he was also in army, but he was not good in judging the characters. He takes hasty decisions, alright, and he was also temperamental, because at a later period of time, when the Rattrap seller was given a shave by the valet and was given proper dress to wear, he comes to know that that person was not his friend, and immediately he tells him to leave the house. So this shows the kind of fault that he has in judging the human characters. And because of Edla, she knew that this man was not Captain Von Stale. Niels Olaf, an old army regimental officer. Rather, he was a thief. Okay, so that's about the character of the Iron Master. Now come to another major character Edla will mention. Edla was very kind, compassionate, modest, humble, and a great host. Okay, she was a great host. We see that in her character. She had shown the love and kindness for the Rattrap seller. As I told you, when her father was not in a mood to keep the Rattrap seller, when he came to know that he was a stranger, an imposter, it was Edla who interceded and told to her father that he should be allowed to leave on the Christmas day. And with keen perception and extreme sharp observation, she zeroes down on the fact that the peddler had robbed someone or was on the run. She could even judge the character of a human being. In the very first attempt or first meeting, she knew that the peddler was not a captain. But she allowed to, keep him in their house. So it was that generosity, that love and affection, which was instrumental in changing the character of the Rattrap seller. In a subtle way, she brings out the hidden but inherent goodness of the peddler by liberating him from philosophical trap of his own ranking. See, the Rattrap seller, he was thinking that he was different. Other human beings are trapped, and he himself became a rat in the trap. And it was Edla who, through her love and kindness, helped this person to come out from this trap of materialistic attraction, materialistic benefit for which he was running behind, okay, and changes his character. She was also very persuasive, all right, because she was in a very possible manner. She persuaded her father to keep the man. Truly and aptly deserves the title honorable. All right, we can say that she was a very honorable, good character, like a swan. Now, let's come to the themes of this chapter. The first theme, human beings' tendency to fall into the trap of material benefit. All right, this is the first theme of this chapter, that all the human beings, they are like the rats, and because of their tendency to be attracted to material benefit, they fall prey to the trap. All right, and they get unhappiness, dejection in their life. Another theme of the story is human loneliness. Means you see the character of the crofter. He was lonely. He was searching a friend. All right, and even the Rattrap seller, how the loneliness changed him to be inhuman. He was philosophizing, or he was meditating that the entire world was a trap, because he was lonely. He had not seen kindness in the world. He had only seen things which were not good. He was not treated well by anyone. The society and even the government agency, they didn't treat him well. So that is another theme of the story. Careless attitude of society and government agencies towards the have-nots, that is the poor people and the downtrodden. Who are these people? The crofter and the Rattrap seller. And what happens because of them? They change. They take the path of crime. They involve themselves in crime. Though goodness is inherent in them, it is the outside world, the situation of the society, okay, which makes them bad. So that is the next theme. Man is inherently good by nature. The society and environment make them bad. Human goodness and kindness, this human goodness and kindness that can only be brought out by making a change in their attitude. Alright, and we saw that in the character of Edla will mention. She showed love and kindness and goodness towards this man, and he is now a changed person. He is not the same Rattrap seller. He has got a name. He is now a humble man. So the same can happen if you show some kind of love and affection towards people, those who are dejected, those who are like on the margin. They will not take the path of crime. They will be good. So that is the theme of this chapter. Now, we can very well analyze all these kind of things if we read the chapter very well. So it requires a very critical analysis of the characters. And I think this chapter is very much relevant to the world that we are living now. Alright? Now that's the end of our discussion today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.